an APH Excel Academy. We are so glad to have you with us today. Get comfortable. This is Man Camp, and this is Man Camp Part 3. Even if you're a girl, you're welcome to sit back, but realize we're talking all manly stuff today. Okay, welcome to an APH Excel Academy. We are so glad to have you join us today, whether you're joining us live or virtual and watching the recording. Today is Man Camp, and our instructor today, again for Man Camp, is Alex Fabrega. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Doing very well, Leanne. How about yourself?
I am doing great. I am going to turn this crew over to you.
All right, sounds good. Okay, hello everybody. I am Alex Fabrega. If you've been here for some of our previous Man Camps, we've talked before. I already see Donnie in the chat. What's going on, Donnie? It's been a while since I saw you. So today it is not just me. I have two real deal, real life young men with visual impairments who have come to share their experiences. Everybody please welcome Roman.
Hi everyone.
What's up? What's up?
All right, and we have Sean Fletcher. I was getting to you, Sean. I wasn't going to leave you out. You guys want to introduce yourselves quickly? Sean, you can go first.
Let me turn my speech off so voiceover is not interrupting everything.
Good idea.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Fletcher. I am completely blind. I just barely finished my freshman year of college, and I can't set my camera up correctly. So that's pretty much, oh, there we go.
Perfect.
That's me.
All right, Roman. I think you might have muted yourself, Roman.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, perfect, yeah.
All right. My name is Roman. I'm 19 and I have juvenile retinoschisis. I can't see out of my right eye and I have 2400 in my left eye.
And what do you do? Who are you? How old are you? Where are you in your life?
Well, right now I'm in college. I'm studying to be a software engineer, and you know, for fun, I hike or play video games.
All right. Well, now that we have met our panelists, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Let me pull up my PowerPoint. Here we go. All right, Man Camp Part 3, Return of the Men, with me, Alex Fabrega, and Roman and Sean. All right, our learning objectives today are by the end of the session, everyone in attendance will be able to identify one thing they can do to better prepare for adulthood. And the other thing is by the end of the session, each student will be able to articulate at least one thing about growing up that is difficult. Hopefully by the end, we'll understand where we're at a little bit better. All right, we're going to start off with a classic and important topic, our personal maintenance, starting with smell. So please, at any point, if anyone has a question, please put it in the chat. I will relay it to Roman and Sean, and we can get answers. We're going to start with smell. Let's start with Roman. What are some things you do to keep yourself smelling good?
I'd say the easiest thing you could do is take a shower, you know. That's like pretty bare minimum. And the next thing that you should always do is put on deodorant, just whatever smell you like. And then also a nice cologne will also help you out for the more professional settings, or just, you know, when you're trying to go out or for school, but don't overdo it. You know, have a nice smell that's like subtle, not something that'll give someone an allergic reaction or make them start wheezing. But yeah,
Sean, is there anything you want to add to
that? Yeah, pretty much what Roman said, showering is pretty much the bare minimum. The one thing I personally do not like is people with BO, and I sweat a lot, and it kind of disgusts me. But yeah, just shower, put on deodorant, make sure you smell good. Yeah, that's one of the key things. If you're going on a date, if you don't smell good, that date will have one of her friends do a bailout call and she'll be gone.
Bailout call. That's a desperate situation. All right. So we talked about showering. We talked about deodorant. What about your breath? How do you keep your breath under control?
Oh yeah, icebreakers, Altoids.
Okay. That's
Gum.
more like spot treating when it's desperate. What are some daily?
Oh, right. Definitely brushing your teeth, Listerine, a nice mint toothpaste, maybe. Yeah, brushing your tongue.
How often do you brush your teeth?
Twice a day. Sometimes 3 times a day.
You have a strong garlicky meal at some point. All right, and then there's also aspects of your clothing that can. Should you be changing out that stuff that's next to your skin? Roman.
What did you say? Aspects of your clothing, or what was that?
Oh, was I getting a little?
Yeah, you cut off a little
robot. Okay, so I was talking about aspects of your clothing that can also impact your smell, like your socks, your underwear, undershirts. How often should you be changing that stuff out?
Every day. I mean, especially shirts. You sweat. As depends where you're at, but you should wash your clothes every week or so. Don't use the same shirt twice in a row, especially if you worked out in that shirt. Your socks, make sure they're fresh, everything, because the longer you have it on, the more smell it collects, and it's just disgusting.
So we keep all that fresh, keep it clean, keeps that smell way down. All right, so we brushed on cologne earlier. How do you know that you have the right amount of cologne? So I'm going to start with Sean.
Gotcha. So with smells, especially cologne, if you, I know some people might say, well, if I don't smell it, then no one else does. Chances are that's not correct. If you spray, let's say, if you go ham and spray 4 squirts on, chances are you're walking past a girl and she's saying, man, that guy's wearing way too much cologne. He's way too desperate for hookups or whatever. You need to, maybe 1 is good. Usually when you spray cologne, you could smell it throughout whatever, like close proximity to where you sprayed it at. You could smell it for a long time. And then when you walk out to an environment where there is a lot of smells conflicting together, you usually don't smell that cologne you just sprayed anymore. And some people think, oh, well, I'll just spray more on. But chances are, the thing is you get used to that. If you wear a specific type of cologne every day, you get used to the smell pretty quick. And chances are people smell it more than you can because you're used to it.
A wise old woman once told me that the goal of cologne is to make someone want to come in closer for more of the smell. And you can't have that when you have a 6-foot brick wall of Axe body spray surrounding you.
Oh my gosh. You should not use Axe.
No, I mean, don't use Axe.
That's just my opinion. But
all right, that is our 2 professional panelists. Axe is out. Get it out of here. Right, so light on the cologne seems to be our consensus. It's always a less is more approach, if you will.
Right.
All right, we got a comment in the chat. Mike says that he needs to use antiperspirant and deodorant. Mike, you are correct.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. Old Spice is the way to go with that.
Old Spice, okay. Got some strong brand loyalties here. All right, next question is your appearance. So I'll let you both answer this question. What does your appearance mean to you? Roman, you can go first.
Pretty much your appearance is how you display yourself to the world, just because we might not have good vision doesn't mean the world doesn't have good vision, so they're going to pay attention to some of the minor details. The way you present yourself shows a lot about how you handle things in life. Like if you have messy hair or just wrinkled clothes, it'll show that you're like not as organized, or you just don't care. And pretty much your appearance just sets your presence, and what people will initially think of you.
All right. Good answer. Sean, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. So especially with me, obviously Roman, I have no idea how, if you can look in the mirror, if how much you get out of that, but I can't look in the mirror. And I've heard that when people look in the mirror, it just makes them more paranoid about themselves and about how they look. So I'm actually sort of glad I can't look in the mirror. But in saying that, you obviously need to make sure that you wash your hair. However, I mean, you don't have to do it every day. Apparently, you don't. I mean, I do, but some people don't. You have to make sure you don't have. I mean, you have to make sure if you have facial hair, you have to make sure that's in check. You have to make sure that you obviously don't smell bad. That we covered that earlier. And just you have to make sure that you look like a presentable person in society every day.
So it sounds like more than just your hair and your clothes, your appearance is who you are trying to project, the person that you want people to see you as.
How do you want to be perceived in public?
Okay. And it's not just visual either. You mentioned smell. So
right.
it's a whole sensory deal.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Good answer. All right. I think the first thing we're going to talk about, and that is hairstyle. How do you pick and maintain a hairstyle? Sean, look at this two first.
Gotcha. To be completely honest, the way I get my hair cut, when I get my hair cut, I get it cut in such a way that when I get out of the shower, I don't have to comb it. Sometimes I might have to, well, I don't really have to do anything. I get out of the shower, make sure it's laying down, dry it off, and it looks okay. I make sure it's short enough that I don't have to put any product in it, because let's be honest, some people, at least when I put product in my hair, sometimes I might go a little rogue and might miss a side or might leave some sticking up. I mean, it just sometimes doesn't look pretty. And I don't want to have that stress of, do I look good? Do I have to FaceTime my mom to make sure I look good? But yeah, just with hair, you have to know if your hair is really long, you have to do something with it. You can't just leave it down. You can't just wake up and not wash it and not shower or do something with it, because you'll wake up and have bedhead and your hair will just not look good. If you have it super short like I do, you might just be able to shower and get away with getting out of the shower and going on with your day. But that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say for hair.
What do you ask for when you get your haircut?
Well, I ask for usually the lady I go to in my hometown. I go in with the time of my appointment. I sit down. She puts the thing on my neck and she cuts my hair, washes it, and I pay and leave. Last time I got a haircut in an unfamiliar barber shop, and I told the guy, I said, I would just do two on the top and the one on the sides and the back. And then I told him, I said, if it helps, I want to be able to get out of the shower and not have to do anything with my hair. He said, all right, cool.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't know, a 1 or a 2 is a measurement for how long or short the hair is when it's cut with clippers. So a 1 and a 2 is pretty short.
Yeah.
But it looks good. Looks professional.
Thanks.
Solid. All right, I have some questions or some comments in the chat, and then I'll go to you, Roman. So when I asked what appearance means to you, Donnie said showing up, which I appreciate. How you're going to show up, how you want people to see you. And Mike says he uses a hair and face trimmer to keep it all short and no fuss. Donnie says that he cuts his hair to a 3. That's a little bit longer than Sean's. All right, Roman, you're up.
Yeah.
Pick
For
your
hair?
hairstyle. Yeah.
For me, what I do is usually around this time, it's hotter in Arizona, so I get it short. I do a 0 on the sides with a mid fade, and I get a 4 on the top. And that's usually what I do because it's still pretty short and you don't have to do as much with it. And in the winter time, I just grow it out longer and I only cut the sides to get a fade. And usually that works for me. Sometimes, like with the headset I'm wearing right now, it'll press down your hair. So you have to make sure to wash your hair every day or, get it ready. So you got to be aware of what you do. But when I have longer hair, I usually just comb it to the side. Something simple, nothing crazy. I don't put any gel or nothing like that.
Fair enough. I like what you said about the season impacting your hair too, because me and Roman both live in Arizona, and we're getting to the point where it's about to be 120 degrees. So super short hair in the summer definitely makes sense. And then letting it get a little longer when it's a little colder also makes sense. All right, good answer, guys. Next, we're going to talk about our clothes. So how do you choose your general daily wardrobe? Roman, you first.
I just reach in the closet and get whatever. No, I'm just kidding. But usually for school, I almost always wear jeans, either blue or black. And then I have some vision. I can't see like small print, but I can see colors. So I try to match the color as well as I can. So whenever I wear black jeans, I usually try to get black shirt or gray, something darker. And then with the lighter blue jeans, I wear just a white tee. I usually always do t-shirts, sometimes polos like I am right now. And for shoes, I collect Jordan, so I have a variety of shoes to pick from there. Just whatever color matches with the shirt. And now whenever you go professional, like to a big event or something, just wear a dress shirt, some dress shoes, and some dress pants, and that's it. Just something simple. I don't go too crazy. Just, yeah.
Keep it simple. I like that advice. Sean, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, with dress, you don't have to, if you want to impress somebody, you don't have to wake up and dress like you're going to a prom every day. I mean, chances are you do that, and you, at the end of the day, you ask yourself, why did I do that? It was for nothing. But yeah, dressing up is a really big important thing. Usually I wear jeans and a polo, and I'm wearing a polo shirt right now. I definitely have some ties and dress shirts and a pair of slacks I could wear if the occasion arises, but I dress pretty casual, I feel like, every day. So
keep it simple seems to be our consensus here.
yes.
Polos. Roman, you have all your buttons up. Sean, you have, and me, we both have our top button undone.
Yeah.
How do you decide your button level?
Usually if a shirt has 3 buttons, I button 2 of them. If my shirt has 2 buttons, I button both of them. I still am every time I do that, I'm like, does that look good?
Roman, why 3 buttons? Why are you a full button man?
Because you gotta go above and beyond. I don't know, but no, I just I don't know. I feel like it's more formal, but I don't know. I just put all 3 up, unless I feel like putting the top one down is a little more casual, but it depends on your preference.
Okay, and when we're talking about this, we mean that if someone is going to undo a button, it is always the top button. Me and Sean, we would never unbutton our bottom below button.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Important to specify, though. All right, let's check the chat and see if we have anything good. All right, so Donnie says he gets a 3. I already said that. Ross says that it's cool that everyone knows their number for a haircut. That's a good idea, and he's never thought before to ask. Definitely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I get a 2 on the sides, and then I fade to a 4 on top. It's good to know your numbers, definitely. Even if you go to a brand new barber, you're all speaking the same language. All right, facial hair. We already touched on this a little bit with what you said, Sean. So both of our panelists here, Sean and Roman, have different facial hair. Roman has a mustache. Sean has a whole beard. And do you have a mustache too, Sean?
Yeah,
Get real close to the camera. Okay. Okay, yes, he's got some upper lip hair too. Sean, I'll let you go first on this one. How do you decide when you have enough facial hair that it is worth keeping?
Well, back when I first started getting facial hair, when my dad taught me how to shave and stuff, I would just every time I'd shave, I'd shave and I'd be clean shaven as best as I could. If I didn't, I lived with my parents, so I just asked my dad and my brother, hey, would you help me with a straight razor? Because I don't use a straight razor. I use an electric razor because I don't know, it just kind of freaks me out using a straight razor. But and then because when you shave and it grows back, usually it grows back thicker than the last time it grew back, so you don't have to, when you start getting a little bit of peach fuzz, you don't have to keep it and let it grow out, because usually it's going to grow out all over the place and then little tufts, and you're going to have to shave once in your life, or usually multiple times. But I might choose to go clean shaven again. I'm not sure. I'm sure I might at some point, but I just kind of felt it one day and was like, oh, that's the right thickness I want. And when I shave by myself, I usually get it clean. I usually clean shave because if I don't, then I'm worried that I'll get the alignment wrong. But when I want to shave and I just want to touch it up and make sure it aligns with everything and looks good, I usually go to a barber or some sort of hairstylist and have them do it for me. I'd rather pay somebody than look bad.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
But it sounds like it was worth waiting till it came in thick enough that you could be proud of it. You didn't want some little scraggly.
Right.
Yeah.
Roman, what about you?
Well, me, the reason I have the mustache and not the beard is because I can't grow a beard, hair, it just goes like, it's all patchy or it just doesn't grow at all. So I just always shave it probably once a week, keep it clean in the chin. And for the mustache, I don't know. I feel like it's just personal preference. I shaved it like a couple of times, but I feel like I look younger and I already look young. So I don't want to look like I'm 15 when I'm 19, so yeah.
Takes a big man to admit he can't grow good facial hair. I don't grow beard, mustache. It's not a good look. I got to be let into public schools. So I can't be walking around with gross facial hair. So it's important to know that just because there is some, it doesn't mean it's good.
Mm-mm.
You both have great facial hair.
Cool. There's just a spot under my bottom lip that I feel like I need to get rid of.
Okay. So it's important to be checking up on your facial hair to see if there are any patches that you might want to look into. All right, I was going to ask, how do we maintain it? But we kind of already went through that. Okay. Acne is our next question. How do you know if you have acne, Roman?
Well, I mean, what I do is, because like I can't see the mirror that good, so I just sometimes feel my face, or that's not the best way to do it because your hands have oil and they're dirty. But when you're gonna wash your face, you're supposed to do it every morning, so you should just check and see if you have anything while you're already washing it. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And I also have 3 sisters, and they're always gonna call me out about it, so that's always helpful, I guess.
Helpful, if not nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's not. Excuse me, dear brother Roman, you have
No,
a slight acne. I'm sure it's not like that at all. Yeah.
No, it's that.
All right. Sean, what about you? How do you know if you have acne?
Well, usually I don't have like naturally, I don't really have oily skin, and I make sure to obviously wash my face in the shower with some moisturizer. I use oxy pads. They're just little pads with some sort of alcohol on them to wipe your face at night, usually, or after you get out of the shower. And of course, another way to know is if I go see my mom, she'll be like, "Oh my gosh, you got a white head." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I didn't know that. Thanks, Mom."
Okay, so
But-
trusting other people to tell you for sure.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes. And of course, I'm living on my own. I don't see my mom for sometimes months at a time. So sometimes, yeah, I do. I'll just feel my face, and sometimes I get whiteheads or zits on my forehead a lot, and I'll make sure, and on the side, I'm on my temple, and make sure that's all good. Sometimes, of course, there's ones that I can't see, so I might call up Ira or something and ask them about it.
Okay.
Only done that once. So.
Good use of assistive technology. I like it.
Yeah, right.
All right, so we've kind of brushed on what we do to control and fight acne. You both mentioned washing your face. What do you use to wash your face with? Roman.
So I didn't know much about like face wash or anything. So when I first started, I just Googled it, and I bought some product that I guess is bad, really bad. And then my sisters helped me out. They just gave me recommended products. But you gotta find a product that works for you because everyone's skin is different. If you're like doing sports, you're gonna need something stronger because of the sweat and dirt and everything. But yeah, I just use just a basic face wash, and then I do that in the morning and then the night, and then moisturize right after, because some face washes, they dry your face up.
In Arizona, that moisturizer is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never been there, so it's probably
Dry. I tell you, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we talked about face wash, moisturizer, you mentioned OxyPad, Sean. I don't think I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, they're just some sort of I just know what they are and know what they can do. They're definitely they have some sort of alcohol on it's just a round container with a lid, kind of like a mason jar, but not metal. When you take the lid off, there's usually some sort of, when you first open the thing, there's like a protective film you take off first, and there is just pads that are settling in solution. You just take one off. You might have to dunk it a few times, push them down, and then take one off and just rub it on your face. I usually use both sides and rub it all around. And if you have like an open pore, it hurts a little bit because it stings, because it's alcohol. So like rubbing alcohol. So yeah, I could definitely use those. And if you don't if you like want to know what your skin type is and how well you have maintained your skin, a really good way, and actually a really amazing person showed this to me. You could go and get a facial from an esthetician, and you could usually ask them, what type of skin do I have? Do you have any recommendations of what face wash I should use? Or am I using the right moisturizer? And you could tell them if you have all those details, and they usually could have the answers for you. That's just the way I've found to figure
Go to
that
an
out.
esthetician. That's serious business. Going to a professional. Absolutely. But it sounds like, was the facial enjoyable?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Nice. All right. Well, I appreciate you telling us. We had some comments in the chat. So it looks like Donnie uses a straight razor. Very impressive. I don't use a straight razor. That is old school. I use a more standard safety razor now. Mike wonders how many acne and hair checks the operators at IRA get. That is a great question, Mike. So that is a nice innovative use of the IRA product. All right, moving on. So now we're going to talk about some social stuff. So as you get older, as you become closer and closer to manhood, your friendships might begin to change. People might be into different stuff. So we're going to touch on some of these areas now. So let's say you're in a new area and you want to make some new friends. How would you go about approaching a new group of guys? Sean, I'll let you go first.
Well, just if you walk up to someone new and introduce yourself, and say how old you are or whatever, and maybe if you guys take a class together, I'm in the same class, but really the main thing is that I've found that I always try not to do is if you do approach a group of people, try to, well, always do, be yourself. Don't try to up yourself. Don't try to say you're a millionaire when you're not, or don't try to make it out like you're this big hotshot. And then if you guys get to know each other a little more, and then they find out that you're not, then that brings up a whole new issue that, oh man, you lied to me. Why'd you know? But yeah, just try to just, be yourself. And if you're a little shy, then say, sorry, I'm a little shy. And then, a respectful person might say, oh, well, that's all right, man. Just talk to us, and it takes off from there. So.
Okay, keep it simple. It's our big overarching philosophy today. So Roman, how do you find out what a group of people are into? How to find out what to approach people about?
So if you're approaching a group of people, sometimes it's good to be like observing. Like, it might seem weird, but I guess like if you're sitting next to them, you could listen in on their conversation, but like don't be weird about it, and just but yeah, like just be observant of what it is they're talking about, or just the way they express themselves, or just ask questions. What I usually do is when I meet someone new, I ask them if they're into like the kind of music that I'm into. Do you like this video game or something? And like with guys, it's pretty easy to make friendships, because I don't know, we just get bond over anything. We could talk about like rocks for an hour and we'll be fine. But
you like Cheez-Its? I like Cheez-Its.
Yeah, but like, at school is a very helpful place to make a lot of friends. You can go to like the sport events, or at lunch, you'll find the groups are separated by what they like. At least at my school it was. But like there was the gamer group, the band kids, the ones that were in football, the ones that like anime. There's a group for everyone. You just got to find your place, and once you find it, just do your best to fit in with them. And like Sean said, don't try to be something you're not, because it's just hard to keep up with lies.
All right. So I'm going to give you both a little rapid fire round here. You're going to go back and forth, just kind of list some things that the kids are into these days. I don't have TikTok. I don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
I keep hearing kids say that. I don't understand what's going on. So we're just going to go back and forth, mention a thing that the young folks like. Sean, you go first.
Snapchat is huge right now.
All right. Roman?
TikTok, like you said.
TikTok. Back to Sean.
Rap, usually. Rap, hip-hop.
That hip-hop music kids are so fond of, yeah. Roman?
iPhones. I don't know. Younger people are obsessed with iPhones right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Video games, TV shows, movies, there's all sorts of stuff.
Netflix originals are popular right now.
All right, cool. Okay, here I just have a couple group activities that are good places to make some new friends. So we have sports, some good sports for kids with visual impairments are wrestling, judo, goalball, all good ones. Last time I gave a story about a time I got absolutely dunked on by a kid with albinism in a wrestling match. He like picked me up and threw me to the ground. He was way better than me. Choir, art, drama. You guys have any other good social group activities for kids to go meet?
Oh, I have a great one. This is not my claim to fame, but this is what I like to tell a lot of people, and it's true, of course. I did take 7 social dance classes in high school. The first 2 or 3 were to just they were learning, but the next 4, it was pretty much for the social, because I could by the last dance I took it from the same teacher, so I could be like, all right, we're gonna do this and this, and then we're gonna do this. I knew what we're gonna do. I just took them just to take them for the social aspect. So that could be a good one, a dance class. That's great.
I would say.
What kind of rug? Is that a thing people say?
Huh?
Go ahead, Roman.
Oh no, I was gonna say. I guess what I did was I would just post like goofy stuff on Snapchat with me and my friends messing around, and then just add random people, and then they'll find you from your school. But so a good extracurricular activity, I would say, yeah, just like sports like basketball or football, stuff like that. That's what I usually have done.
All right, cool. So, bit of a change in topic. Who can you go to talk about this kind of stuff? Personal maintenance, making new friends. We're going to talk about dating in a minute. Who are some people in your life that you trust enough to talk about these kind of awkward topics? John.
Of course, usually my dad. I could go to my dad and ask any question I have, and he'll answer it to the best of his knowledge.
All right, Rum.
My siblings, like my sisters, but it depends. Sometimes they're just gonna joke around, but for the most part, they're pretty helpful.
But there is a certain chance with your siblings that they might give you bad advice on purpose, just because sometimes siblings are mean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about parents. We talked about siblings. Anybody else? Either of you?
A teacher that you trust. Yeah.
Okay, teacher. I heard Sean say school counselor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably our friends. You have really good trusted friends. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cousins.
Can't go to talk to your friends if you need to talk about making new friends. But
right.
See that being a problem. All right. Your TVI or your O&M, if you have a good relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a TVI O&M, and I think we're very wise people. Might be a little biased on that. All right, we're moving on to dates now. So I have talked to both of our panelists here today. They have both been on dates in the past, so they are both experienced in this realm. They know what they're talking about. Our first question is, how do you ask someone out? I'll give this to Sean first.
Don't be blunt. Don't walk up and be like, hey, want to go out with me? Because that's going to get you nowhere. Maybe, go hang out first. As soon as, if you shake hands with a girl, you can't say, hey, want to go out on the date? Because that's not going to work. You guys got to hang out and make acquaintances, and don't go, make friends first. Don't try to go on a date just because you think she has a nice voice. Make friends, know what she likes, and make sure, and make it to where, she knows what you like a little bit, and just make friends. And, when the moment's right, you guys are sitting next to each other, whatever, you could say, I have, some feelings for you, and would you be willing to go on a date with me sometime? And if she says no, then it sucks. I've never been rejected. I never want to. I'm sure it's a really horrible feeling. And of course, when you if you get rejected by someone you've made friends with, then what's that friendship going to be? It's going to be awkward, and you guys are always, every time you see each other, you're going to think to that point where you asked her out and she said no. So then, you got to be really careful about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Donnie said in the chat, will you marry me, lol? So that would be a little too blunt, I think. Maybe moving a little bit too fast. Roman, what about you? What's your go-to asking for a date move?
I think I had to agree with Sean. You had to get to know them first, because in the movies or stuff, they'll just go up to them and not even know who they are and ask them. But that's not how it works in real life. You have to get to know the person first, and then you might not even like the person, but you just like something that from initial interaction that your first impression of them might have been better than what they actually are. So just get to know them, and then don't be weird about it either.
That can be hard though, because when your blood's pumping and you're super nervous, sometimes it's hard not to be weird about it.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned not being too blunt about it, Sean, but how do you make sure that the other person knows that it's a date? You don't just want to hang out as friends. You want, this is a date. This is distinct from just hanging out.
I mean, maybe the thing, I mean, when you really like someone, and when you ask them out, it should feel natural to you. You shouldn't, I mean, yeah, I mean, you're nervous for sure. But you're not like, will you go out with me? It should feel like it's just, will you go out with me? Will you be willing to go on a date with me? Would you be able to go to dinner with me sometime? It should feel natural and it should just flow. And I mean, being too blunt, you can't just, of course, be sitting next to each other one night eating popcorn and say, hey, want to go on a date? Because then she'll be like, what? I mean, I guess we could go to dinner or whatever as friends. And then you're like, oh, well, I just got friend zone. And we all know, I mean, at least me and Roman probably know how that feels. And yeah, just don't, I mean, maybe, you know, if you both like each other, maybe, you know, hold hands for a little bit and then ask, or, you know, just don't, I mean, just make it flow and make it natural and graceful.
Right. That, and again, that is very difficult. Like the first time you ask someone out, you both remember how deeply and profoundly nervous you were.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm sweating just thinking about it. So Casey said, establish the fact that the activity you two are going on is a date. You have to make it clear to them. So I think it is important that you use that D word. You say the word date somewhere in the question.
Yep.
Right.
Definitely. All right. And so Sean, you have mentioned that you have lived a life free of rejection. Both me and Roman have not. What if you do if they say no? How do you recover from that, Roman?
You don't regret. No, I just like, but I mean, you know, it depends who the person is, right? Like he said, sometimes it's awkward after they reject you, but the most important thing is, you know, respect their decision too. Like they don't have to go on a date with you either, so just be mindful of that. Don't get angry or don't push it either, because it's gonna come off as like you're weird, and then they're not gonna want to talk to you at all. And then, you know, you could still be friends. You know, sometimes, most of the time it's not like that, but just don't be pushy about it. Just respect their decision. I say that's the most important thing.
That kind of reputation spreads. You don't want to be known as that creep who won't take no for an answer. I feel like movies and TV give a real reputation that if you get turned down for a date, it's like, oh, it just means you have to try harder. You just gotta have a bigger, more dramatic, more romantic gesture. But have you ever seen that work before?
No, never.
No.
Never once. A no's a no, and that's okay.
Right. And I just had one comment about the rejection thing. Like I said, I've never been rejected, but I've witnessed someone getting rejected, and it kind of an example that might happen is if you're really good friends with someone of the opposite gender or someone you're romantically attracted to, and you ask them out on a date, you say, I have feelings for you. Would you be willing to go on a date with me? And they say no, and I mean, you might feel really dumb or really stupid, and your face will definitely get red, and you can't just, I mean, if you've known someone for so long, you can't just break a friendship. If you really know deep down who that person is, I mean, you might just say, oh, I'm sorry, and then she'll say, I'm sorry, yeah, I don't feel like that about you, and I'm sorry that it didn't work out. And you could say, oh yeah, for sure, you know, we could. And then she'll say, maybe later, maybe, because I'm not sure, I'm not in a very good place in life right now. I don't, you know, just, yeah, that's how you can recover from that.
Yeah. So state that you're still willing to be friends, even if they're not willing to go past that. All right. We're going to go to our next speed round here. Just listing off good places to take a date to. Classic first dates is what we're thinking of.
All right. Did you say Sean? Sorry, I think you cut off.
Yeah.
I think he
Am I robot?
froze. There you go.
Am I back?
You're back
Hey,
now,
all right.
Alex.
Okay, good. So we're talking about classic first date spots. My first spot is the park. That's my go-to. I'll park somewhere in town. Roman, what's your go-to first date?
I'd say the movies.
Okay, the movies. That's another good one. Sean, what you got?
Oh, if you, I mean, I'm not into this, but if you are, take a girl bowling for the first time.
Bowling, all right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make
all
it a
these
little
things are on my list. A little, okay, yeah. A little competition can be fun. Mm-hmm. Donnie says prom. Zachary says the mall. You could do restaurant, museum, ice cream. COVID is definitely a bit of an impediment for some of these things right now. Make sure you're taking appropriate precautions.
Let's go get our vaccines together for the first time.
Oh, that sounds adorable.
Romantic.
Donnie says homecoming. Yeah, school dances are definitely good ones. All right, we're running a little foul of time, so we're going to speed up just a little bit here. So we'll try and keep our responses a little bit tighter so we have some more time for questions and answers at the end. So we're talking about our date preparation now. So let's say you've decided that you're going to go to this movie theater, or you're going to go to this restaurant, and then you're going to go to this movie theater. How can you prepare to make sure that date is successful, Sean?
Don't think too much about it. Don't think, oh man, don't try to make it as successful as you want it. Don't try to envision every single second, because if you do, it's going to go horribly.
What things can you prepare for that? Like, should you learn about the restaurant or the movie theater beforehand?
Oh yeah, for sure. Call ahead and say, hey, I mean, maybe, if you're going to a restaurant, look at the menu, go onto their website and see where the address is, and make sure she knows where she's going. If she's driving, or if you're meeting her there, make sure you know where you're going. Make sure she knows where she's meeting you. Make sure you have something to identify yourself with. Not just my name's Sean, because there might be she can't just walk in there and say Sean, because there might be 3 or 4 people in there named Sean. I mean, there has to be something else.
Right. What about learning the layout of the restaurant or the movie theater beforehand? Is that valuable?
Yeah, maybe go to the location physically.
Do a little bit of scouting. And Mike says you should not go on a first date to some place you don't like or know yourself. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So go somewhere that you feel like you have a bit of home turf advantage.
Right.
Roman, anything to add to that? Any scouting, pre-learning you can do before a date?
No, I think we covered everything.
Right. Who would you go with if you wanted to scout somewhere?
A friend.
Yeah, a friend.
You might be embarrassed to ask, but I bet your orientation and mobility specialist would be willing to help you scout.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Donnie said your girlfriend. Well, if she's already your girlfriend, Donnie, you're past the first date at this point. I'd say you're set. But fair enough, Donnie. Moving. Okay, so now let's say it's the day of the date. It's noon now. The date's at 6:30. What are you doing to get ready on that day?
Take a shower. I mean,
Oh, Sean, go ahead.
Oh, you're. It doesn't matter if you showered that morning. If you woke up at 8 and showered, it doesn't matter. Take another shower, because chances are, I mean, who knows? You might smell bad. Who knows? Take another shower. Brush your teeth again. Make sure your smile's good.
Tiny bit of cologne.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not too much.
Just a little bit.
Anything to add to that, Roman?
About the cologne, something I've learned is to spray some on your wrist and then on your collar, and that's it. Just 2 sprays and that's it. Something simple.
I just do the back side of or sometimes my wrist, and rub them together. Sometimes.
Yeah, I rub it on my wrists and then I rub it on my neck.
Yeah.
My go-to move. Donnie says it's the style to wear to smile. I'm into that, Donnie. Definitely. Smiling is a good thing. Casey says to take care of your skin. So that could be a good time to moisturize.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Should you bring anything on your first date?
Money. You gotta pay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Gotta pay for stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you necessarily have to pay for your date?
No. You could, depends on what you want to do, you know. You could split it, you can pay it for a full or whatever you want.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if I don't know, if you land a date with some hot shot Beverly Hills girl, she might want some $40 steak and you might want just something for $15, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna pay for your food, so you can do whatever. I'll eat with you, hang out, but
so in the event of hotshot Beverly Hills dates, be careful.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Gold digger.
What do you do if the date doesn't go well? So you've been at the date, you haven't been able to talk about anything, it's been awkward, you don't really have that much in common, date's not going well. What's the move?
Well, you can choose to end it quickly, which, I mean, some people might do. Just say, I want to get this over with. I want to get out of here. Or you can, I mean, maybe do some critical thinking and say, well, maybe I could be interested in whatever this other person is interested in, even though I've never done it before, and have them tell you about it and ask questions. And don't just do yes or no answers. Actually be in the conversation and let her know that you're actually listening. Because if you're just some boring person, she's going to have that bailout call.
All right. And that bailout call, the people that don't know, is when someone's friend calls them, tells them there is some sort of emergency, so then they have an excuse to leave the date. That is, I'd say, arguably worst case scenario for a first date. Yeah, things have not gone well in that case.
Another thing, oh my gosh, I thought of this like a couple of weeks ago. If you're going on a date with a girl and she's driving you, don't leave. And let's say you have a bag with you, or you have something. What if you leave that bag or a personal item in her vehicle? The date doesn't go well. She says, "I'm leaving you here. Bye bye." Where's that thing now? It's gone.
Okay.
So make sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. All right. What about, should you try to hide or otherwise pull attention away from the fact that you're visually impaired?
No, I think that should be a main topic of conversation.
Mm-hmm. So just be straight up about it. Be honest about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just don't.
Especially if they're not familiar with visual impairments. If you put it out on the table, what's there to be weird about?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, make sure they know that I'm Sean, and Sean happens to not be able to see. I'm not Sean the blind guy. I'm not Sean the guy who can't see. I'm just Sean. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you make it clear, it stops being weird.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Nice. Anything bad, Roman, about any of this stuff?
No, I was gonna say that, you know, if the date isn't going well, you could also just change the location. I don't know. I've had times where go to the movies, the movie was bad, and then we just decided, let's go to the mall that's next to the movies or something. And then for talking about your blindness, usually on the first date, you're getting to know the person like more in depth anyways. So it might end up coming up in the conversation. So, you know, just don't be worried about what they're going to think and just be honest.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I like what you said about maybe it's not about you and the person that's going well. Maybe if like the movie's bad, if the meal is bad, if the location for the date is somewhere bad, improvise. Be willing to move if the situation demands it. All right. So some critical O&M skills for the young man. What do you think are your single most important O&M skills? This isn't just for dating, but what are your most important day-to-day O&M skills, Roman?
The cane, for sure. Knowing how to use your cane is very helpful. And also just knowing your city, where you're at, how to get around. Using your assistive technology, your phone, your Google Maps if you need it. Having knowledge of like different types of transportation. You can use the public like bus system and everything. just getting around, I'd say, is the most important O&M skill.
All right. I'm going to go back for a second because I got something in the chat that I really want to talk about. So Donnie said, it might offend someone if I talk about my disability. Do either of you want to comment on that?
Well, people might. Oh, yeah. So people, I have this happen all the time. It's not just with a date, it's with everyone. If I say a blind joke and I might laugh or my friend might laugh, someone else that might not be hanging out with us or might not be acquainted with us as my friend or whatever, they might be like, oh my gosh, that's so mean. And you just have to be like, no, it's fine. Because I mean, the way I see it, obviously, if you can't joke about it, then you're insecure about it, and that's not a good place to be.
All right. So it seems like Donnie said, just talking about and being upfront about your blindness might offend someone. The way I see it, if somebody's like that, that's a good indicator that you might not want to be spending that much time with that person.
No.
Being honest about yourself is offensive to them. They might not be the right person for your life.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Cool. We are flying through our time. So I am going to come right around to the end of this. And we're going to talk about some of the challenges that you guys face around this age and maybe a couple years back in your like junior, senior years of high school. What were some of your biggest challenges, do you think, in that time? Could be school is hard, relationships could be hard, frustrated about your visual impairment.
Yeah, I think it was pretty hard to walk down the hallway when people were staring at their phones. I thought that was pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something hard for me was socializing, especially in high school, because I don't know. I was kind of shy, but I just found activities that helped me break out of my shell, and then you just gotta talk to people. You gotta not be afraid. And being shy is just like, it's normal. It happens to everyone. Some people just don't show it that they're shy, but you just gotta find your way around it, talk, and then just be yourself, and people will appreciate you.
What would you both say your number one frustration was when you were in high school?
Oh.
Big question, I know.
Yeah, there's so many things.
I would say for me, the biggest one was like, people were turning 16, they're learning how to drive. And it's like something we weren't able to do because of our vision. And it's just frustrating, and then not being able to independently travel like with a car. But, you just got to find your way. That's why I said knowing how to get around is important. Find that alternate way to do things. There's Uber now and all that stuff. But yeah, that was something definitely challenging, and especially seeing your friends getting their new cars and stuff.
Casey said government and law class. Sean, what about you? So Sean, you'll tell us your number one thing, and then the last thing we'll talk about is what you guys do to relax. Yeah, you got over that. So Sean, what was your number one?
And I'm not gonna go on Roman's thing, but I'm gonna go beside it. People getting to do things that you are unable to do, or it's really difficult for you to do because of your vision. I remember when I was 16 or 17, my brother got a dirt bike, and he was just riding it around and doing all these things, and like he was talking about it in school, and I just felt, that when I think about it now, I'm like, why did I feel that way again? But I just felt like I felt like an outcast. I don't know. I just felt like, man, he could do all these things, and man. But yeah, that was pretty much it. It was really hard for me to face that reality, I suppose.
So then what'd you do to make yourself feel better?
I went out and learned how to play the guitar.
All right, so you picked up a new hobby, something. I imagine you shred, is my guess.
Well, not, I mean, kind of.
Okay, a moderate shred. I can take that.
Yeah.
So finding a new hobby, music can be very relaxing. Roman, what about you?
Yeah, I would say also music or just talking to my friends. Something for me that I always do is me and my friends would always just play video games together, and I can't play the game that good, but I just get on there to talk to them and just have some laughs with them or just hang out with them in person. That's always like, go to Dave and Buster's and all that stuff like that.
All right. How did you guys meet people who are going through the same things you guys are going through and could relate with you? Jeff, I were so close. Either of you can go ahead first.
Pretty much just like camps, camps and some like different things for at the Utah schools for the deaf and the blind out here in Ogden. There's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of opportunities. So that's really how I met a lot of blind people, because I'm from my hometown is a really rural area and I was the only blind person there.
Okay, so it's worth going somewhere where there might be some more people to meet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, Roman, what about you?
Same thing, the camps. I would do the Foundation for Blind Children camps. They also provided some just other extracurricular activities that you can participate in. And, it's very helpful because when you're young, you feel like you're the only one going through it. But once you meet the other people, it helps because then you can joke about your disability with them, and just relate to them. And also at school, I had a TVI, and then I found out that there was like 2 other people that had visual impairments at my school. So I met them through that too.
But you wouldn't have met them had the TVI not explicitly introduced you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that's a good place to stop. Thank you both so much for joining us today for this presentation. Your wisdom has been invaluable.
Gentlemen, I want to tell you, thank you so much for what I thought was one of the best man camps so far. I think the conversations were critical and very valuable. I wanted to invite everyone back tomorrow who would be interested. Tomorrow's topic for Excel Academy will be writing with your imaginations. We'll be doing some interesting creative writing processes through AudioJack. I think it's going to be a really exciting episode. But thank you again, gentlemen, for your time. And we will see everyone tomorrow, hopefully, at the next Excel Academy. Everyone have a great evening.